What's going on, guys? Here with another episode of VanGo After Dark. As always, flavor of the week, one of my favorites actually, Django Chill, FOTW, you know the discount code. Check it out, it's delicious. Kind of a fun topic tonight. We're going to be chatting a bit about what's really becoming into the mainstream, side jobs, gig jobs. Talking about like those Uber Eats, skip the dishes, Uber in general.
Yeah, it's an interesting topic, and it ties in a lot with the cyborg age. Because of the cyborg age, it's allowed people to be so flexible. And so when it first started, people looked at it like a whole revolution and stuff. But now, just like anything, it's coming and people are realizing like, oh, there's a lot of cons associated with this whole gig. And it's funny because actually last year I was talking to someone and I was talking to them about how I felt like some of the freelancers that we were dealing with were almost sick of being freelancers and they just wanted to get employed again. We actually worked with a few freelancers in the past that in reality they weren't really freelancers because they did 99% of the work with us. And so it's a really interesting topic.
Yeah, I mean it has its cons and its pros. To start off, I'll give it a little example. So there's this guy, his name is Don Lane, he was in the UK. He was 53 years old and he died from a car accident or something. It turns out he was employed with this company DPD for 19 years, and in all that time he was just a subcontractor. He didn't have any of the benefits associated with being an employee, and in fact it was really bad because he started getting sick and he couldn't even go to his specialist appointments because every time he would miss like a day of work, he would actually be charged $150. Yeah.
Actually, I'm sure I know we got a couple of viewers here and that are like that subcontract level. Maybe they can speak on some of their experiences in that. That'd be interesting to hear.
Yeah, any of you guys out there do any subcontract work or has some interesting stories from your experience as a subcontractor?
Put that underneath. But yeah, so he got fined every day that he wouldn't show up to work, so he couldn't go to a specialist appointment. He didn't die from a car accident. It was from being sick. I think he had cancer or something. Sorry about not knowing that. Yeah, he eventually died. He left behind like a 22-year-old kid and a wife, both who kind of relied on him. And then that's it. He doesn't get any kind of workers' comp or anything like that because he was in a gig.
But it was an ongoing gig, right?
Yeah, he was with them for 19 years.
Yeah, that's an interesting one because actually CRA really doesn't like that. And nowadays with the multiple companies, it's harder for CRA to crack down. Mm-hmm. But a situation like this, they would have come in and really made a big example out of that company because at the end of the day, the company is reaping a lot of benefits, a huge amount of benefits. And like
you kind of see like that short-term gain, like, okay, I avoid the taxes. Like if I have a subcontract, you get your taxable benefits and all that stuff. But I also think it's part of like a symptom. When I was like, kind of leaving the more big company corporate world, jobs, like companies don't want to hire you full time. There's a lot of companies they don't want because they don't want to have to pay this. So everyone's hiring part time. It was really interesting talking to other colleagues, like new hires that came on after me that were a little more further in their career and all that, and they were really experiencing this. So it's almost like it was birthed out of like people trying to just make ends meet. So it is a kind of that chicken and the egg thing. It could be a vicious cycle.
I remember for me the first time I really started seeing this come around was like Freelancer, Fiverr, those kind of things, and it was. The way I saw it was more like the birth of globalization, where we're now able to subcontract out work to anyone in the world. And so we've worked with programmers in Australia, we've worked with designers in China.
The guy who designed our VanGo logo was from Malaysia.
Oh yeah, Malaysia.
A little quick story about that. So when we were starting out VanGo, I heard about this website. It was called hiretheworld.com. And basically what it is that you put your idea up there and designers from all around the world would compete to design a logo or design a website or whatever it may be. So we had like maybe 100 different entries, and eventually we settled with the one we wanted, and the person that we settled with got like I think like $300 or $500 fee, and that was it. And I mean like that's amazing. We got like 100 different designers to input whatever they thought and give all these ideas. And then we just chose the best one for like $300 or $500. Like, if you wanted to hire a firm to do that, you're paying like thousands.
And the cool thing with that one especially was that you get the diversity.
Exactly.
Like, you're not going to one person to get one idea. So that was really cool. And there's definitely quite a few pros that we've seen along the ways. But the tough thing to really, at this point, is like where we're going in the future. Because there's definitely pros and cons. But at the end of the day, I think that a lot of the cons are almost observations of fact. It's not that we can go back to the old ways because as the AI age and the cyborg age come in, even as a company, we've seen that we really don't have, significant, we don't have a clear-cut defined role. Here you go, this is what we need you to do, blah, blah. Because, first of all, things are shifting all the time.
It's so shifting so fast.
Yeah. So fast.
Huge contributing factor.
It's not even possible to say that, like, any company is going to be the same in 5 years. It's not even possible. Like, everything's so quick.
And the reality is, if you are, you're probably a little bit in trouble. Let's be like smart here. Like,
even a restaurant, like nowadays, if you don't have skip the dishes and stuff, like, what are you doing? Really?
Oh, yeah. And I was talking to the guy. There's a really nice little donair spot right near my house. And I noticed that the guy's not on skip the dishes. So I talked to the guy and he's like, yeah, I know. Everyone keeps telling me, and I don't know what he's talking about. But he's not on there. And so he's missing out. And I told him, I'm like, you need to get on there because your food is perfect. People will order all the time. And he's, I don't think he really comprehended the extent to the impact. Like, this is not like a 5% increase in your revenue. This is like majority of where the revenue is going nowadays. Every day it's getting more and more popular, these kind of services.
Yeah. Every time I show a new friend's house and they're already skipped the dishes.
Yeah,
like, okay. Everyone's, it's
even for me, lunchtime, like, sometimes if I'm gonna order, I don't really feel like driving down all the way to Quiznos, doing all that kind of stuff. For like $3-4, the guy will bring the Quiznos right here and just stop for 5 minutes, eat my thing, go back to work. It's so convenient.
That itself, it benefits us a lot, as consumers. However,
yes.
On the other hand, with people that are drivers and stuff like that, like there's a stat from 2013 to 2017, the monthly wages for the average driver fell 53% from 2013 to 2017.
And the sad part about that, it wasn't even super high to start with.
Yeah.
Like the monthly earnings were like almost $1,500 down to a little less than $800 a month.
That's crazy. Like that's a huge drop. And I mean, like, think about when Uber and all these people switched to automatic driving. Like,
Oh yeah, they're
crazy.
pushing that hard. The Uber's got that campaign back up in full force to get the full automation. Eh?
Oh.
Yeah.
And then we're complaining now, and like, Amazon workers, like, I feel for them 100%, but they're complaining now when all this automation comes. Where, I mean, like, most people are gonna be pretty fucked.
Some of the interesting, obvious ones, I guess, are there's no employee protection. There's a decrease in wages and tips potentially. For the smaller producers, you have less control of your business. If you're constantly subcontracting, they're not actually employees. So let's say you have a star contractor. There's nothing holding them. Tomorrow the guy could say, okay, peace, I'm out. It doesn't matter. It's a contract at the end of the day. So there's a lot of pros and cons. And I think one of the biggest things is with social media, just like what we said with social media, it's an observation of fact, these pros and cons. I think that this contractor age comes, or this really gig age comes with a lot of pros and cons, and we really have to be aware of what the pros and cons are, and so that we can actually mitigate the losses. So for example, with this gig age, we're really quick to jump online and subcontract things out and do all that. But we're not as quick to use the resources that are out there to make us better earners.
Like going to school and all.
Well, even going to school is so we use quite a few of these online resources. So one that I use quite a bit is like Udemy, and so you go and you pay for like $12-13, and you can get a full course that would teach you a ridiculous amount of stuff. And it doesn't matter if you're a career worker or a gig worker, these resources can significantly impact the amount of money you make. These technologies come with the pros and cons. If we don't take advantage of the pros, we're going to just keep suffering more and more of the cons.
Actually, that could be an interesting thing to see how education transform with all these resources.
Well, and I think that other graph that we're looking at with the wages going up, the gig workers have an advantage at the low level.
Yes.
Because McDonald's is garbage, you can be better off doing some gigs.
Yeah.
But as soon as you start getting into anything real, the gig workers fall off.
Is
over the next 5-10 years, there's no denying how much robotics and AI are going to impact manufacturing and businesses and everything. But the big question is, what is it actually going to do? Is that a negative thing? Is that a positive thing? Is it that people are going to have so much free time that we're going to start inventing ways to go to the moon so quick? And is it going to be a positive thing for everyone, or is it going to come to a big plateau where things start, or is it going to go into decline maybe? Because I'm not sure. It's such a complex
it could be
issue.
really basic. There's a reallocation of resources. So now instead of everyone I work in warehouses, they're helping build a moon rocket or something. It could be interesting what if with that freed up time and freed up resources, where the reallocation can go for that.
Yeah, so this is the whole cyborg thing, and it all really does boil down to the same concept of same theme of the cyborg age coming and what comes with it, and how we're all so connected.
Connected.
Like, hey, I need this food. Someone just get it, and someone can get the message that this guy needs food. Okay, I'll go get it for him. It's such an interesting, weird age that we're in. So, and I think even like the AR thing that hasn't really broken into the mainstream, that is going to be
Reality,
interesting.
yeah.
Because like if we're all wearing our glasses, these AR glasses, and that's taking the cyborg and the connectivity to another level, you know, we could be having meetings with the freelancer, and it could look like, to me, it looks like he could be right in this room.
You could be designing like a whole house on a piece of like empty barren land, and like to you it'll be perfect, and you can change whatever you want just from looking at it.
Yeah, no, it'll be really interesting and even connected. Like imagine Chris was in Toronto and
Yeah.
he was in Edmonton, but it's all just AR. It looks like they're all like augmented reality.
Star
Like,
Wars shit, yo.
and it's so close. It's coming. We were at a VR arcade on last weekend.
If you guys haven't tried VR, like at a real VR arcade, not
Yeah.
at
Oh
not at
my
your
God.
nephew's PlayStation, but like at a real VR arcade, go try it. It's amazing.
It was so like I was literally so dizzy for like an hour after. It was like almost so disorienting, but it was so trippy.
Yeah.
Like this one game we were playing archery, and like I'm looking over and like I can see them both there.
You could like wave at each other.
Yeah. Doing a little dance and stuff.
Yeah, the, like battle. We were having battle and like ducking behind like imaginary stuff, and it was like it was such a trip. I kept hitting the walls, and it was a trippy experience. But like, yeah, I mean, we're excited. Let us know definitely if you guys have thoughts on what do you guys think, and what are your thoughts on gigs, cyborg, like the AR, VR, the freelancer, the globalization, all this stuff that's coming. And if you have any personal experience with gigs, both positive or negative, we'd love to hear it.
But yeah, again, flavor of the week is Django Chill.
Man, check that. Let's get nice and close. Yeah, there you go. You have to. Oh wow, that's so bright. Anyways,
It's
delicious.
15% off retail, 5% off wholesale. So you know, hit us up, Django Chill. It's one of our top flavors.
Make sure you put that discount FOTW.
Flaving, yes, VR games are sick. And Jovan, you do need to try the root. I believe there's some on the way to you. I was talking to Vinny. He said there's something coming. So let us know what you think. Thank you guys all.
Much love.
Appreciate it. Talk to you guys next time.
next week, unless we get replaced.
Yeah.